Yo, hello everyone. Welcome back. This is another live. This is the 18th, if I'm not wrong, the 18th live of this YouTube channel. If you don't know me, my name is Vick Hason, and if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing, liking, share, because we normally talk about interesting topics about relationships, about people who are on their early 20s, mid 20s, late 20s, and if we are lucky enough to have people who are on the early 30s, again, it will be awesome because they will be sharing things that they have already experienced that we as young people, the Gen Zs who are on the early 20s, have not yet experienced. So thank you so much for the ones that are joining right now. And if you're going to watch this video maybe later, please, I will be happy. I will appreciate to hear your opinion on today's topic, which is about how to deal with your ex. 10 ways, or maybe the 10 rules on how to deal with your ex. Because most of us normally don't know how to deal with our exes. We don't know how to treat them, and maybe we keep on seeing each other every now and then we don't know how to control every kind of situation that we normally end up being together. So I have 10 ways or 10 rules that can help you manage with that if you find it difficult. Maybe you have a kid, or maybe you didn't have any child, but still, it's that kind of moment or situations normally torment you. So this is the place for you to be. This is where you can get now the rules, now the solutions to the problem that you may be experiencing with your ex. So for those who don't know me, again, I may repeat, I'm Vick Hason. This is Vick Hason Talks. And then we have other YouTube channels, which there are two. So the first one is Vick Hason, where we normally do comedy. We do comedy, we do short films, any kind of film production. It is being done there. And then we have Pop Show KE, where we normally do news work, we do journalism work, we do entertainment shows, we do podcasting, everything that it is on media like a journalist. We do that on Pop Show KE. So if you may enjoy more of our content, just visit my other channels, subscribe, so that when we do something, when we go live there, you do not miss. Okay? So I think we can kick off. Thank you for the one that has joined. Just say hi as we continue with our live, because today we have an interesting topic. I hope you also will enjoy. If you have had your ex, or maybe you have not had an ex, you don't have an ex, but at least you may have an idea about exes, and I'll appreciate if we engage, and you share your side, whatever that you may think, because whether you like it or not, you one day or another, you may experience that kind of situation whereby you have an ex, be in a relationship, and then you break up, and then now you have an ex. So today we are sharing 10 points or 10 ways or 10 rules on how to deal with your ex, because most people find it difficult to move on from their exes, because maybe they are entering into a new relationship, but still the situation between them and their exes is in an entanglement situation. So they don't know how to move on from their exes. So we have 10 points that I'm going to share with you. Please feel free to interrupt me. Feel free to differ your opinion from the points that I'm going to share with you, because most of them, they're subjective, they're based according to me and according to my research. But maybe you have experienced, and you know better than me. So Blaise Moura says, "What are you doing?" Said hi. So Blaise Moura. So we are doing a live video about exes. We normally talk about relationship topics, and today we are focusing on how to deal with your ex. So I don't know, Maura, I don't know if you have experienced, the situation whereby you have an ex. I don't know. Please share with me if you have an ex. Evelyn Mumbi says hi. Mambo Evelyn, hi. So I think we can kick off. Please feel free to share your opinion, and I will be happy. So Bless Mora says you have an ex. That's great, because today's topic, we are going to have a chat. We are going to to see if we have common ground about how to deal with your ex. So without much talking, I think we can kick off. So feel free to share your opinion on the list that I have. So I have a list here. There are 10 of them. I'm going to share with you the rules on how to deal with your ex. So the first one is keep your distance. So what that means is no contact. There should be no way that you are contacting each other, or maybe you're texting each other, or maybe you're calling each other, or maybe you went to a place where you want to meet. There should be no contact. So keep your distance. Let your ex keep the distance, and then you keep your distance, because again, it will help you with healing process, because you want to heal. You want your mental health now to to regain its normal state. So keeping a distance, it will help you to deal with your ex, to move on. It will enable you now to move on and to feel free to join join a new relationship. So Evelyn says, "You are lying. Guess how old am I?" How old are you? I'm not lying. I'm not lying. Okay, tell me, how old are you? Okay, so Bless Mora says, how when I not do contact with her, she's not going to notice me. At least that's a so you want to you want to be in contact with her because you want her to notice you. I think the best way to move on from your ex is to avoid being in contact. You should avoid contacting your ex. You should avoid any kind of way that both of you may meet in the same place. And down the points I'm going to share with you how to deal with your ex when you find yourself, both of you are on the same place. Okay, so Bless says, Evelyn, I think you are 12 to 16. I don't know. So Evelyn, please share. You said I'm lying, so you wanted me to guess how old you are. I don't know how old you are, Evelyn or Evelyn. Please share your age, and please, I like it when you contradict with my point, because I also want to hear from you, because your experience may be different. So my experience on that kind of situation, for me, if you want to move on from your ex, you want to deal with that situation, please avoid contact. Keep your distance and let your ex keep your distance. It will help you to have that peace of mind. That is my point. So that is point number one. Point number two is set firm boundaries. So under this is decide what you will and won't talk about to protect your peace. So now this is whereby you and your ex, you find yourself most of the time meeting up. So and maybe you may find it difficult to ignore your ex. You may find it difficult, just to assume, to talk about things. So if it is hard for you, you can't assume your ex. You just need to, maybe you feel awkward, maybe you have not said hi. So you need to set boundaries. For example, you should say, I don't want us to talk about our past relationship. Because both of you now, you are exes. You understand, you are exes. So it means both of you are trying to move on. So there are some topics that you need to keep off from your conversation every time you meet, because if you find it difficult not to meet your ex maybe you even work under the same building, or maybe you have experienced breakup with your ex, but you still live in the same area. So most of the time you keep on meeting each other. So just set your boundaries with your ex. Be clear on the topics that you may want both of you to keep on talking. And most importantly is to avoid talking about your past relationship. That is the point there. So, Evelyn is offline. Okay. So Evelyn just said, I'm lying, and then she went offline. Okay, that's okay. But that is point number two, about set firm boundaries. Okay. Just share with your ex the kind of topics that you want to talk about. Let's go to point number three. Point number three is be polite and brief. So under that is, if you see them, be kind like a stranger. So, but don't start long convos. So just be polite and be brief. Treat your ex like a stranger. You understand? So you need to keep your conversations very, like you need, your conversation needs to be limited. Don't start long convos with your ex, because that may lead to something else that may make you not to, that will make you not to heal faster emotionally, for your mental health, for you to be able to move into a new relationship. So every time you meet, just be polite. Don't ignore, don't assume, but be straight to the point and avoid long conversations. Just be like strangers. Talk whatever you want to talk about, but make it short and continue with whatever that you are planning to do on that day. So prevent long conversation, but just be polite. Don't be rude, don't assume, don't ignore, because it's someone that you have experienced some things together. Okay, so Bess Mura says, sometimes, like when I have something serious to do, I always have to hide myself from her until I come back. So that is how you control that kind of situation with your ex. When you have something serious to do, you hide yourself, and then until you come back. So okay, so Maura, that means you have not moved on from your ex. Your ex, you're in a situation whereby it is. We are going to talk about it later on this list. You're in a situation whereby it is known as backup track, whereby it is a trap. You're treating your ex as a trap, maybe, so that if new relationship doesn't work out, or if you find it hard to move on from your ex, then she will be your backup track, like backup trap, whereby you, you will fall back to your ex. So you're treating her like a backup track. So that means you have not moved on. So for me, I prefer if you're finding it hard to solve that kind of situation, whereby you find it hard to move on from your ex, to deal with your ex specifically. Just the most important thing is to avoid contact. Yeah, but if if you can't keep your distance, both of you, just be professional and be polite and treat your ex like a stranger. So that will enable you to heal faster and to move on. So if Maura, you say that if you have something serious to do, you just go for a while and then come back. So you're treating her again like a distraction. Of course, exes are distractions when you're doing something serious. So that means still you have not moved on. Moved on, Maura. I think moving on will enable you to heal faster, and treat the situation like with a mature mind, yeah. So let's go to another point. Point number 4: mute them online, whether it is Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, what else, Threads, Twitter, whatever, and WhatsApp. Just block them online, because that is where they normally stalk your progress, and then you may start to feel jealous. That is like a premature jealous, whereby you start to envy their progress. You start to envy the new person that they have got into a relationship with. So I think for your peace, just block your ex from your social media. Block them from online media. That will enable you to do your thing in peace. Yeah. Don't give them a chance of stalking you. Because I know exes are always stalkers. They keep track of your progress. They want to know the new person that you've entered into a relationship with. They need to know how your life is moving on. They need to know your mental situation. They need to know everything that you are doing. Because if they see you've moved on, then that will enable them to to move on. But if you act maturely, not just acting, but trying to be mature, you don't need all those kind of things. You just need to move on from by just by not anyone telling you to move on. Just decide on your own. I want to move on. I don't want to stalk my ex. I don't want to know their progress. Between me and her, it is done. Just treat it like that and move on. So block them or mute them on the social media, whether it is WhatsApp, mostly WhatsApp, mute them, or maybe delete their number. Or maybe if you have a kid, don't delete their number, but just mute them so that you do not become a stalker, because you can't block yourself from becoming a stalker of your ex. You just turn out to be a stalker. So just mute them online. Point number 5 is don't talk trash. If you don't talk, if you talk trash, you have a bad mouth on your exes, and most of the time, maybe you and your ex, you share friends, you have mutual friends, and maybe you're still friends with some of their family members, and then if you keep on saying bad things about them, you it will tell more about, it will show more about you, it will show how hurtful you are, how volatile you are. you know just don't have a bad mouth on your exes. So the point under that is, okay, if you have a bad mouth, you may look hurt or bitter, and that is not a good thing, because it may show that you was the problem when you had your partner. So your ex was okay, your ex is okay, but you is the one that had the problem with your ex. So don't I prefer not to have a bad mouth, like not to talk trash about your exes. Just move on with your life. Point number 6 was stop the why talk. So every time you meet, I know it is very hard. It is very hard for you not to talk with your ex about why did we break up? Why did this happen? It is very hard to avoid that kind of question, because most of the time you really want to know who was the one who had done the mistake, who was the one who hurt the other person, and that will because since your ex is that, and maybe you're not planning to move back in together, just try to avoid the why talk. Why did this happen? Why did we break up? It will prolong your healing process, your mental healing process, and it will prolong you from going into a new relationship. Yeah, so avoid the why talk when every time you're meeting your ex. Avoid the why talk. That is point number 6. I don't know until there, from point number 1, point number 6. I don't know how many points you disagree with, how many points you agree with, but just share with me. Let's have a chat. Even if you're watching it later, which is maybe not live, just share opinion in the comment section. I'll be happy to engage and to reply back, and let's have a chat. Let's engage. Let's know your view, because most of the points that I'm sharing with you, most of them, I can say they are subjective. Most of them they come from different people, so maybe you may have a different view. Maybe from you, the situation with your ex happened differently, so you may want to share, or you may want to contradict on the point that I'm sharing, or maybe you may want to agree with the point. Just say yes if you agree, or maybe if you don't like this, if you disagree, just say it in the comment section. I'll be happy to engage with you. Let's go to point number 7. Point number 7 is no friends with benefits. I hope you have seen that movie, which was between Justin Timberlake, if you know Justin Timberlake, and a woman. That is a romantic comedy movie. So it was about friends with benefits. Like, we are co-workers. We don't want to get into a relationship. We don't want these kind of moments that we share to each other turn out to be a boyfriend or a girlfriend kind of situation. But we can become friends with benefits. So most of the time, to prevent that kind of romantic relationship, most of the time they prefer to have sex. So they became friends with benefits. We are friends, but we are benefiting from sex. But we are not going to be boyfriend, sorry, but you're not going to be boyfriend and girlfriend, or maybe a wife and a husband. But it is a romantic comedy movie, so at the end it ended up them being together. They engaged and become romantic partners. But because today we are talking about how to deal with your ex when you're in that kind of situation, don't become friends with benefits. Because both of you're trying to move on from each other. So being friends with benefits, it means that mostly it happens with ladies, whereby they tend to benefit from their exes, maybe their boyfriends or maybe their husbands. So they want to remain friends, even if they don't have kids. They still want to remain friends, but the lady wants to still benefit from the man, from the guy. So that will make the lady's life difficult when she tries to move on into a new relationship. So Blessed says, I'm back from getting okay. Welcome, Blessed. Welcome. Sorry you went offline. We are on point number 7, where we are talking about no friends with benefits. Don't become friends with benefits. It will enable you to move on into a new relationship. But if you want to become friends with benefits, maybe it will be in a situation whereby you have a kid. So you're co-parenting this child. So it means that you need to be friends with benefits, whereby the benefit here is the kid. So I need something from you to take care of the kid, and I need you to take care of the kid, so that sometimes I can get the kid and we go hang out somewhere. But it is advised to not become friends with benefits, because it will be hard for you to move into a new relationship. That is point number 7. Let's go to point number 8. Point number 8 is resist the backup trap. So Blessed Maura, that was the point that you kind of way you intertwine with that point. So resist the backup trap. So if you have experienced a breakup with your partner, your girlfriend, or maybe your boyfriend, try to move on. Don't keep your ex as a backup, like a backup trap. So when your new relationship doesn't work out, you may fall back into the trap, the backup trap of, so you're keeping your ex as a backup. So don't fall into that kind of trap. Just try to move on and let your ex also to move on. Don't keep your ex as a backup track, because again, most importantly about this kind of situation, this kind of excess situation, it is about healing. I understand healing, it is very, very hard if you loved someone very deeply in a romantic relationship. So healing can take a very long time. It can make you not to enter into a new relationship, even if you should have to enter into a new relationship, because you loved someone very deeply. So I believe healing needs to be taken seriously for you to be able to move on, because again, it interrupts your mental state. Your mental health needs to be intact for you to also interact with other things around you, to be interactable in your environment. You need to heal up. That is what I'm believing. So don't treat your ex as a backup trap. Move on, let your ex move on. Don't make them as your backup. Let's go to point number 9. Point number 9 is focus on your growth. So point under that is use the energy you spend on them to improve your own life instead. So that kind of energy that you wanted so much your relationship to end up well, like to be, what do we say when a good story ends? To be happily ever after. That kind of energy that you used to input into your romantic relationship, for your relationship to end up happily ever after. So because you can't most of the time you can't block breakup from happening, just use that kind of energy that you're using back there to enable yourself to grow, to grow into a new someone, because you have experienced some things and then you have gained experience, you have gained some lessons, and then now you can apply it on your present life, and then enable you to grow as a new person, to grow as a matured, learned person. So just use that energy to help you to grow into a new someone when you're figuring yourself on how to enter into a new relationship. Let's go to the last point, is aim for nothing. So the point of that is the goal isn't to hate them. It is to feel nothing when you hear their name. Don't hate your ex. The opposite of love is not hate, is apathy. But since you have experienced that kind of relationship with your ex, a romantic relationship, after breakup, don't hate your ex. Don't let their action be like don't let their action be like make you to react. Don't make yourself to feel something when you hear their name. Just try to be someone. The point is, treat your ex as a stranger. That is the main point on today's topics. Just try to move on and treat your exes as a stranger. That will enable you to move on and to get that now they live happily ever after kind of life. So thank you. I've been burping for a while. So that's all the 10 points, the 10 rules on how to deal with your ex. I hope you've enjoyed the live. We have finished. So if you're watching the live, maybe it is right now, maybe you missed the live one, so you're watching the uploaded one on my YouTube channel. Please consider subscribing so that you don't miss the next live when we are going live. Again, thank you so much for those that have engaged with me. Thank you, Blessed Mwaura. Thank you, Evelyn. I still don't know how to navigate this thing. I may press and then something happens. Thank you so much for those that have engaged with me. Thank you for those that are still joining. The live has ended. We have discussed the topic that we had today. And I appreciate for the engagement, and I also appreciate for those that are going to watch offline. Maybe you're watching offline. I appreciate for you to engage, and I'll be happy to interact with you on the comment section. Share your opinion, because the points that I've talked about, they are mostly subjective according to me and according to the people and according to the sources that I've gathered the information from. But maybe your experience was different from how you experienced it with your ex. I don't know how you interact with your ex. If you've had an ex, I don't know how you interact with your ex. But I believe interaction with your ex. I believe interaction with your ex, it is different according to how most of the people normally interacts with their exes. So for me, the takeaway here, the main point, the takeaway according to me, I've never had an ex, to make it clear. Maybe a crush ex, but a serious ex, never. So, and I don't want to experience it. So the takeaway here is, treat your ex as a stranger. If you meet them, just be polite and don't make the conversations too be long. Just make them short and simple. And then another one is keep distance. Avoid contacting, avoid every kind of way that you're going to meet with your ex, because most of the time they will interrupt with your healing process. Then another thing is, block them. I don't know if blocking is the right word, but I think it is. You need to I don't know what is the word. Let me look at the word. Not because blocking them, you may still have some needs that you need from your ex. So the correct word is mute them. Okay, just mute them, but don't delete them completely because they may have something that you need. But if you really want to move on, just stay away from your ex. That is the point. Stay away from your ex, heal, and then try to move into a new relationship. And that's all for today's live. It is, I didn't say we were going live for how long, but it is 30 minutes and 54, 55, 56, 50, 57 seconds. You know, it's going to 31 minutes. And I'm going to end the live right now. Please like, subscribe, comment if you have not, you know, and I'll be happy to engage with you because that is the entire reason. That is the purpose why we are going live discussing these topics, because it is a chat. I'm happy to have a chat with you. I'm happy to share opinions with you. I'm happy to know from your side. You know, I'm happy to know your romantic relationship live the way I'm sharing mine. You know, so if you subscribe, you know, and you don't miss every time we're going live, it will be awesome. You know, because it is a topic that most people who are on their early 20s, they have not experienced. And if they have, they are not really pro at it. You know, they still need more information about it. I'm one of them. That's why I take the topics as my responsibility, you know. And I normally also talk more about university life because I've experienced university stroke college life. I know more about that kind of life, you know. And also in the near future, we'll be talking about more about university life. Even though I've done a number of contents, a number of videos on my YouTube channel talking about college stroke university life, which I'll appreciate if you go visit my YouTube channel and watch, you know, share your comments, you know. And I'm sure by the end, after watching my YouTube video about university life, you know, college life, you will be perfect for college life. So the only thing that it will be coming from you when you're in the university or college, it will be now concentrating on your studies, making sure you do well on your grades, you know. And maybe if you are not on that side, because most of us here in Kenya, most of the people normally don't go to universities because university is expensive. Most of them maybe go to college, can afford to go to college, and you know, and most of them doesn't. Most of them, they finish their education at secondary or high school level, so they don't tend to go on higher education. Yeah, that's all for today's video. I don't know what else I should talk because I find it hard to end the live when people are watching and when people are still joining, you know, because I normally want all of us to have a chat, you know. And most of us, I think most of us may, the kind of audience that I have here, most of them, I think they really have not experienced romantic kind of relationship. So they are nervous, whatever they're going to share. You know, maybe it may feel somehow that maybe they may not want, but that's not it. I believe I believe I believe you still have something, you know, something that you can think about, because it's the kind of life that you are going to experience in a few times coming, you know. And you need to be prepared because relationship is complicated. Relationship life is so complicated. Yes. I think we're going to end the live right now. Thank you so much for those that have watched. Thank you so much for those that are still joining. Please leave a like, subscribe, comment, share so that you do not miss the next live. And that's all for today's video. We have talked about how to cheat your ex. 10 rules. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Until the next live, please don't miss.